Hello dear friends, today I would like to finish our course by talking about the last question. What is the difference between absolutist and relativist thinking? What I have noticed by talking to people on the forums, that was a while ago, I noticed that there are differences in how the people express themselves. If you remember when we were talking about intuition, I said that I noticed that intuition of time, that's kind of original name of intuition, introverted intuition, I noticed that the people who has got it as a program function, they are very inclined to doubts. They inclined also to talk. The important is, like for the Hamlet, for example, important to show the emotions because it is program function, ethic of emotions. The same thing for introverted intuition types like Balzac, Yesenin. For them, it is important to share their way of thinking, and their way of thinking is more about the doubts, how they see world changing or event changing, and they don't really need your opinion as much. They just need you to listen for them to express themselves. And they would be upset if you don't want to listen to their waves of thoughts or how they see the world, how they see themselves in the world. Especially Yesenin. They really like to talk, and if you just cut them off, it will be very bad. So anyway, there are different way types express themselves. And what I noticed about the logical types, I noticed that people who has got black logic, business logic, extroverted logic, they are more categorical and they than white logic, introverted logic, and they try to consider objects separately. They try to establish something very important, to emphasize the importance of the objects, and they don't really like to compare, like with other objects and so on, like do relativist thinkers. Relativist thinkers who has got white logic in their mental part of model A. Of course, it is more eminent, more visible in the types like who has got business logic as a program function and introverted logic as a program function. But even if it is weaker function but still mental function, in introverts, for example, ethical introverts, you still can notice it. And I also noticed that absolutist thinkers, they like to, how to say it, emphasize the words, like make it big letters of the words in text. So, and that's how this whole article appeared. But it's not really easy, not that easy to notice the difference, to use this marker. It's not easy. And sometimes when I type people, I also offer them to read this article, and I say, okay, if you doubt, do you have got business logic or introverted logic, have a read of this article and think what you are. And it's really difficult for people to understand if they are introverted thinkers more than extroverted logic thinkers. Yes, so that's why I wouldn't make it as a huge important subject of learning. But at the same time, if people are interested generally in the theory, it's interesting to consider how the function, this or that function in your mental part of model A, how much it does affect and influence your thinking or your feeling, depending what function we're talking about. And I'm sure the differences are there. I'm sure about it. For example, if we consider ethics, types who has got extroverted ethics in mental part of model A, they are more judgmental. No, not even judgmental. They are, yes, they can, how to say, they express emotions more freely, using the emotional wording more freely, but not really bothering that much about relationships with people, you know, like introverted ethics, it's about being clean and honest inside, yeah, trying to be having conscience, yeah, and feeling guilt if you even express something about people, if you judge people in a harsh manner, while extroverted ethics in mental part, they can, oh, maybe like Trump, who can say bad words about people and then say, oh, did I say this, that was a mistake or something, you know, very easily playing with words, yeah. So no matter where is extroverted ethics is, as long as it is in a mental part of model A. So it is, we're talking about how functions interact with each other, how they influence each other, and so on and so on. It's interesting subject, and that's something to think about. So going back to absolutist and relativist thinking, in a simple words, absolutists try to, they love object, like a singularity, to describe the objects, the quality of objects. And if relativist is around, and if relativist starts to comparing, it's almost like throwing shades in different other colors, while objectivists want one object, one color, and emphasizing the qualities like of this color and so on. And relativists are on the opposite. When they start expressing opinion, for example, about the object, they try to feel it in like in a background and compare to other objects and see what they similar, what they not different, and so on and so on and so on. So that is a different way of thinking. I have got at the end of the article, I have got examples, but to understand examples, you really need to read and understand what the person means. Does the person talk about trying to categorize something? The person wants something to be as clear-cut as possible? Or the person is more relative thinker and he tries to understand from the point of other perspectives, let's say that. Just for example, out of life, I was talking to my friend Hamlet, and she was describing her son. And at some point, you know, just to show her that I understand her very well, I say something like, oh, I understand you very well. You know, my son is also shows this and this and that, you know, some issues and so on. And suddenly reaction is like, what are you talking about? My son is nothing like your son, you know, don't even compare it. So this reaction can be surprising because the meaning and the goal of what I said was kind of to feel at the same wave, to support her, like I understand her. But in reality, she didn't like it because I started to compare it like two objects, and kind of tried to make a shade, a relative thinking, yes, sort of thing. And she wanted to describe just her son. And she started again to talk, don't talk about your son, it's nothing like that. My son is that and that and that. Yeah, so maybe you find it interesting. Maybe it will, when you read a theory, you might agree, might disagree, or you might understand, not understand, but it still can rise some new thoughts and sparks of thoughts in your mind. In this case, you know, when we talk about socionics, because there is so many theories, and sometimes you think some theories is just making things worse. But on another hand, if you think more, even in a more relative way, in a more general way, then you say, gosh, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter is it true or not true, as long as, you know, people find it interesting, it makes people think, and so on. But of course it is good and bad about it, because it may take away people from the truth. Yes, so we're finishing the course already, and I would like to invite you to conversation with me. If you have any question, I can offer each of you like half an hour session, or it depends. It may be half an hour, it depends how it will go. If you have got any questions on the course, and if you want to carry on with studying the second course, it will be Associative Socionics approach, then please let me know, and we will make a date for you to take a test. It will be a small exam with me based on these questions. Yes, so please let me know how do you want to proceed. I would love you to, as soon as you're ready, basically, I'm happy to make a test, and then you will receive a certificate. It is good for you to receive the certificate, because it doesn't matter when later. Will you join straight away the second course, or it might be in the future you will be able to join the course. But if you made an effort and listened and have read things, if you know, then why not to do the exam and to receive the certificate. Yes, so please let me know if you have got any questions. If it's just one or two questions, we can maybe, if it's something minor, we can sort it out in private messaging, and exchanging maybe audio messaging, but we can also talk to each other. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening to my lectures, and I hope you liked it, and I would be happy to listen to your feedback. Thank you very much. Bye bye.